What's been the success rate in, say, the last 5 or 6 years of the SBICs?
In terms of
The venture funds, small businesses?
You're talking about the participating security funds?
Yeah.
Well, the program, they stopped issuing licenses in 2004, so the program is ramping out of existence. There are about 160 funds still in existence. Fewer and fewer are being put into liquidation. The ones that have gone into liquidation are the ones that had problems associated with the 2000 recession. What will happen after September 30 of this year is anybody's guess, because the funds that were licensed in, say, 2002, 2003, 2004 were given at least the implicit, if not explicit, promise of leverage equal in most cases to 2 times their private capital. That leverage is going to be cut off through no fault of those licensed SBICs as of September 30 of this year, and no new leverage is being supplied. So it is really anybody's guess right now as to how those SBICs will be able to complete their business plans. Many of them are seeking private sources of capital and trying to negotiate, and have in many instances negotiated with SBA to buy out SBA's position. Others will probably be unable to do that, and whether they will fail or succeed for the lack of capital they will be faced with, it's too soon to tell.
Mr. Bettencourt, just do banks do any of these loans that you do in the micro loans, or is there a reason why they don't do them, or are they just too high risk, or what's been your history with that? I mean, people that come to you compared to using a conventional bank.
If I can just expand upon the subsidy issue that the administrator talked about, quite frankly, the reason why banks are not doing this is because you can't make money off these loans. You're going to spend $4,000. In our case, every loan we spend $3,000, $4,000 of our technical assistance time, and we may earn $1,000 in interest. The loans are under $35,000. So if you have a $10,000 loan, you don't make enough interest to cover your costs. Hence, this partnership with the SBA of trying to not subsidize, but invest money so we can help this entrepreneur. And so that's number one. The economies just don't work for banks. Number two, you have to help the client. There's a lot of work, credit repair, understand the type of collateral that you need to use, helping them with their business plan, et cetera, et cetera. And the other thing is that I think the SBA did this research a number of years ago. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, that there are borrowers that don't go to banks because of their fear of being turned down. And so there's a psychological factor that we have to work through. Again, you're not going to see it in any bottom line.
And you were just talking about that. One thing I didn't realize, I started looking at some of this, I think 50% of people that are looking for loans, banks or car loans, don't qualify for conventional financing. There's probably different numbers, but that's the number I've heard. What percentage of the people you work with have, or they can't probably go to a bank and, or can't get conventional finance, would come to you?
Well, I mean,
or let's say bad credit. I mean, that means a lot of different things. There's bad and there's real bad, but your sense of
the average credit score in our program that a bank wouldn't even consider giving a loan. So I would say 90% of the loans that we do, a bank wouldn't even consider. And we actually had a banker come in and say, we want to buy your portfolio. We want to buy your loans. When they went through our portfolio, they saw all of our loans were being paid, but when they looked at the profile, given the credit score and the collateral we're holding, they weren't interested. We get that every once in a while. So that's more anecdotal, but I think that they just don't have the time, don't make enough money, and don't understand this type of lending. It's a real niche type lending.
And then what has been your success rate in lending in the microloans area?
Our particular program is 97% payback. I would say nationally it might be a 5 or 10% charge off. And again, it's a 1% default rate because we put that reserve fund. The organizations are on the hook for any losses, not the SBA.
So you're saying of all the loans that you originate, you have what's the default rate?
97%
So you get 97% of people that pay the loans?
back. I would say, I mean, because we look at
Is that
microloans.
security, or what are they? Are they putting up security, or is it
Holding
just a
card
good business
titles,
plan?
a second
Okay.
loan, a second loan, or lien against their home, business assets, just like we pretty much do what a bank would do, except the numbers and the economies are not as great. The equity might be zero, might be 100% financing that way. You might have equipment that's really not worth anything. But psychologically, you tie them in, you help them. One thing that I found interesting is that when our borrowers don't pay the bank, if there's a problem, they'll pay us because we have a very tight relationship. We spend a lot of time with them. So there's a real relationship that we build with that entrepreneur. And then we obviously encourage them to pay the bank as well.